We're in a mystery, and that's what I like.
I'm a full-time crop circle researcher. I think the crop circles are the most important thing on the planet.
I've no idea who or what's behind it. I mean, just there they are.
No one has a patent on the truth. The truth is a universal concept.
If you believe in science, then you have to believe in a genuine crop circle phenomenon.
People always ask me, well, what do you think? Well, first of all, I'm not a scientist in that respect. I am what you might call a sociologist, and I am a symbol seeker.
I'm just interested in the phenomenon itself and the mystery, and particularly the way it affects people who study it. Is if it changes people's minds, changes our outlook, and that's very significant.
What jumps at me is symbols, because this is my love, you know, that's what really fascinates me, the symbol that refers to ancient knowledge. And I see that's coming through.
By doing my crop circle research, I try to connect frontier science with traditional science, and I realized that those two things are, if you make it in an honest way, they're pretty much, they work pretty good with each other.
I was interested in shape and form and design and geometry and number, those things. But also I was interested in the unexplained and the paranormal.
The whole world's a mystery, you see. We don't know how the world began or how life began or how culture began. These things are all unknown. And we have theories and myths and such. They're just a substitute for admitting ignorance.
I believe the crop circles are definitive signs of initial contact with other civilizations. Now, I'm not going to be specific about another planet, outer space, there might be other dimensional civilizations, I don't know. But this is contact. I mean, whatever else the crop circles offer, there is simply no question that there is evidence of will and intent and volition and program and curriculum and an agenda. There's something going on here. They're not just some odd accident of nature. There is a will.
I think we're dealing with some kind of intelligence, and I don't like to say it's an individual or a group or just an intelligence. It might not be in a definition the way we think of it, but an intelligence that can come from another dimension and can make a physical influence into our dimension.
And I'm completely puzzled by the phenomenon. But I think that in looking into the causes of it, no one's ever got anywhere that way. I think the mind behind it is of a very high quality, a very high culture. And even the geometry and the design behind it has a sophistication and a wit which is beyond anyone I know among us. It seems to be of a higher mind than the normal human mind.
Even the most complicated crop circle formations have at least their geometrical counterparts in phenomena, in shapes in designs in nature. And I thought, okay, this is very interesting, and most people don't know about this because they only know that crystals have a geometrical design, but there are so many other geometrical designs in nature. So for myself, I feel more comfortable with the idea that crop circles are a yet unknown wonder, mystery, or natural phenomenon. So-called, I called it once, a paranormal natural phenomenon.
It all always boils down to belief. We don't realize how powerful belief is, actually. And belief, people confuse belief with truth. When you have a really strong belief, you think that's truth. Well, maybe it isn't, because you go in another country and they have a different belief that contradicts this one, and they think that's truth. And that's why there's conflict. It's called fundamentalism. There's a conflict of belief.
And of course, no one knows that, how you could produce these flawless and original masterpieces.
I don't believe that it is just like the earth sending up a signal in from inside the ground to a plant and the plant bends over. I do believe that the patterns are somehow beamed from up above. There's like a patterning that takes place, like a blueprint.
To me, it's not clear what the crop circles are, and I have not made up my mind what I think they are. One observation I had made from the beginning on was I wondered why the people were always thinking that the crop circles are connected to the UFO phenomenon. And I realized maybe it's just because crop circles are circular, UFOs have to be circular in our ideas. And if a UFO lands, it leaves a circular impression.
It is akin to whatever makes lightning. It's an electromagnetic force that puts down a heat signature very rapidly and transforms the stems of the plant almost immediately into bending over, and it blows out some of the water vapor that's in the plant through the node points. It's like your elbow or your wrist points. All of that the science has already told us about. But how do you control lightning? See, that's the thing. If we had the ability to control lightning, then we could probably make crop circles.
It's a bit best kept secret in the world. Best kept secret in the world, and the most important subject in the world. Interesting paradox.
But even then there was a mystery about it. Something was happening and no one could explain it. And so that attracted me.
The crop circles are a communication from non-earthly civilizations who are now stepping in very much against their better judgment, because we and this planet of which we are supposed to be the custodians are so f***ed up. And I think they're thinking, oh God, we've got to, how long do we have to sit back and watch these jerks screw themselves over?
Because I think it's an educational process, and just like the teacher, we have to be motivated to learn for ourselves what they mean for us, what they're saying to us, and what we do about them. Because no matter what we look at it, this is the world that we live in, and the influence is coming into our food chain. They're in crops, after all, that we eat for the most part, or that animals eat that we eat. And so I think that it's not going to be revealed overnight like on landings on the White House lawn. I think it's going to be much more the kind of thing that little by little people are going to come to understand that there is a whole nother aspect to physics, a whole nother aspect to our dimensions, and maybe we'll start to learn how to see into those dimensions and have an interaction that way.
Looking at the world, there seems to be complete chaos, and yet the antidote is presenting itself. That is a return of knowledge of proportion and harmony and the nature of the world, which will enable us to lead fully human lives with that knowledge.
But we're going through a time of transition. This has been announced, it's been told to people, what are called earth changes are happening, and the crop circles are part of this phenomenon. So it's part of a wider phenomenon. We can look at the phenomenon in one of two ways. We can look at it as a prelude or the precursor to an apocalypse, and suddenly it's going to be a huge breakdown and everything's going to fall apart and we can get afraid. Or we can see it as a challenge, but an opportunity. And the challenge and the opportunity is that something new is growing and is going to be born, and that we're going to be part of that birth process.
The crop circles are spread before us like toys on the nursery carpet to intrigue us and perhaps to persuade us to help ourselves. Perhaps to persuade us to learn to grow up enough so that we can start to help ourselves and learn to play with the big boys.
First of all, I want to say, I want to know those artists. Wow. If people are making these, why aren't they out there exhibiting these in the top places around the world? Because people would pay money just to come to see them. The photography of them is exquisite. It's breathtaking. And then when you realize that these are hundreds of feet in diameter, that they come in one single night.
I would challenge anybody not to make a crop circle, but on a flat playing field. Simply to pin out the geometry with strings and pins, you know? I'd say fine, forget about bending wheat, forget about that. Just show me how you would set the design out.
Well, there are many which are too elaborate, too large to have been done under given conditions, in the short hours of summer night, illegally in a farmer's field, without being seen or caught.
If something goes on, after 20 years, somebody would have seen something, somebody would have heard something, you know? Nothing's been seen, nothing's been heard. So I'm basing my judgment on that. There are people who make crop circles, you know, for television and the press and so on. And it takes them 4 or 5 days to do it in broad daylight. They have to bring cranes. They have to rent the field from the farmer and pay him. It's not the same thing.
You know, I'm pretty much aware of the fact that some crop circles are man-made. And this is also why some people see me as the devil's advocate, because I also claim that I think and know that very intricate patterns have been made by men. I have observed them making it. I caught them in the act during the night because we go out with night vision equipment and stuff like this. So I really am aware of this situation, that people can make crop circles, but they cannot duplicate the results from the change in the plants. They cannot make crop circles in a matter of seconds.
A wheat field is like rice paper. If you make a mark on it, it's there forever. It's unforgiving. It bears the evidence of every touch. So the whole, do people make hoaxes? Yes! Do they make lots of them? Yes! Are they getting better at it? Yes! Do they compare with the real thing? No.
The phenomenon has never shown any signs of wanting people to be attracted to it.
I think it's very important for people to know what's going on. This is a momentous event.
As a small group of people, it doesn't matter to us that the whole culture begins to get interested in this. All you need is a seed. Once the seed is planted, if it is something that's important, it will grow.
We are pretty much limited in our possibilities because there is no funding, or very few funding of our research.
I think it's an opinion. It's a hypothesis. It's a speculation.
The phenomenon goes on and always surprises us every year with new original designs. It's far beyond anything sort of conceivable in human terms.
What a stupid question. What a deeply, profoundly stupid question.
4 and 5. 4 in Tempe. Sorry, my math isn't good.
Believe the crop circles are rather more important than Scooter Libby.
It's like saying, okay, a dog has 4 legs, a table has 4 legs, therefore a dog has to be a furniture, or the other way around.